makes the best thumb stud action that I have felt in 2021, hands down. The best thumb stud action, and possibly the best thumb stud action I've ever felt on a knife under $100. Bang! Neves Knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife Kara's busy. And this new Kizer Begleiter 2, in my opinion, is far better than the first one. Far better than the original. The original one was riding on phosphor bronze washers. The new version is on their new ceramic bearings. We'll get more into that here in just a second. But it makes the best thumb stud action that I have felt in 2021, hands down. The best thumb stud action, and possibly the best thumb stud action I've ever felt on a knife under $100. So, first off, before we get into the action and everything on this knife, you can find these on MOJAVE Outdoors. They also have discounts when you get to their website if you buy more than one, but definitely go check out MOJAVE Outdoors. They have a ton of Kizers. Kizers make great knives, you guys. Kizers are definitely doing a great job. They have lots of great designers, and in this case for the Begleiter 2, they do have a couple different versions. Okay, as of right now, they are sold out on MOJAVE Outdoors, but you can get them from eBay, from their eBay site that I'll link below also, and you can get them from Amazon that I do have a 10% discount code for. Just make sure that it is being sold by MOJAVE Outdoors on Amazon. So they have their website, they have their eBay site, and they're also on Amazon. Wow, I am so impressed with this knife. I'm loving this knife. I'm loving this knife. Now, we'll just get right into the action since we're talking about it, and then we'll get into cutting and everything else. So, the deployment. The thumb studs are well placed. They have plenty of grip on them, and where they're placed is right where, you know, your thumb will want to land anyways. They have a nice big cutout for it. So regardless if you're left or right-handed, it's still extremely easy. I mean, they give you plenty of room. I'm not left-handed, and I can easily manipulate this knife. But the detent is nice and strong. And if you listen to it, you can hear you can actually hear it pop out because the detent is strong, but in a positive way. It's very strong. Now, coupled with that very strong detent and these ultra smooth ceramic bearings, watch this drop. I mean, it's a fall shut action, 100%. So when you couple that fall shut action or that level of smoothness that it has, with that strong detent, all you got to do is break that detent. When you break that detent, it's going home. Like, it's getting locked up. And the lockup, very solid. And the detent, when you break it, it's almost like a button. It's kind of hard to explain. I like to relate it to kind of like the SOCOM Elite, the Microtech SOCOM Elite. It's almost like you can just go like this if you want to, and it'll pop open. You can basically flick it however you want, but just putting pressure on that thumb stud, as soon as it breaks, man, it just flies. It feels like it's assisted. Even when I handed this to Kara got it. She went, whoa. She said, is that assisted? And I said, nope, it's not. It's incredible. So for even the reverse flick, it just, man, it kicks. It literally has recoil when it opens up. And then when you unlock it, you're not really expecting it to have the level of smoothness that it does. And the lock bar is extremely easy to get to. Lots of space for that lock bar. And that also feels like a button. Like, it doesn't even feel like you're moving a lock bar over. It almost feels like you're pushing a button in. And it makes the action very, very enjoyable. Now, other than the amazing action, well, let's go into the bearings really quick. So I did take it apart and I did look at the bearings. The bearings are basically just cage ceramic bearings that are in a brass cage. But what they did was they milled out the the knife or the blade. They milled a pocket out, and they have basically a little track in there where the balls roll on. Now, also on the liner, there's a track as well. So instead of you putting the open face of the cage towards the liner, you can actually put the open face of the ceramic cage towards the blade, because it's encased in between the liner and the blade in a pocket that has the track, and they didn't coat that part, so that part is uncoated, which is going to add to the level of smoothness. Same thing with the detent track. Now, taking it apart and putting it back together, very easy. It had a D-shaped pivot, and the screws came out very easily. Everything went back together very easily. It was an extremely easy takedown and put back together. Now, the N690 blade, I personally like N690. I did sharpen this, and it took an incredibly sharp polished edge, which I'm happy with. I like it. You know, it's not a big deal if a steel doesn't take a good polish, but in this case it did. It did take a good polished edge, and it sharpened up really nice. The steel has felt really good. I've gotten good edge retention from it. We'll get into cutting performance here in a second, but the steel felt very good on the stone. And this N690 steel, you know, it is coated, and so that's going to help also with the corrosion. N690 is already a stainless, so you're getting basically double corrosion resistance with the steel and the coating. The ergos are very slim. The micarta is well done. I like Kizer's micarta. They're doing a great job. You can see how it's really darkening, because when I first got it, it was more like this white area, or the way it is under the clip. I actually have a little clip of from the takedown where you can see the inside of this scale, and you can see how white it is. But after you've, you know, played with it and, you know, it's gotten your oils, it does get nice dark red, which is really nice, and you can still see the fibers in there. It adds a nice warm texture to it, and it's very comfortable. Very slim in the hand, so since it's nice and slim, it's going to be very easy to carry, very easy to manage, and even though it is a full-size knife, it's still very easy to manage and wield. Very comfortable in the hand. It is, like I said, very slim. You have this little spot right there where you can like basically lock it in your hand for the utility cuts. And speaking about utility cuts, let's talk about its slicing performance, because it cuts very, very well. It's about 15 thousandths behind the edge, and at 15 thousandths behind the edge, it passes through cardboard very, very well. I had no issues with it passing through, and yeah, it's fun to, or I'm not gonna say fun, it's enjoyable to cut with versus some other knives. I felt like I had a lot of control the whole time. It is a slim knife, so for a slim knife, it's easy to get your repeat cuts in. You do have jimping on the back of the spine that is very well done. It's grippy, but not too grippy. It's the perfect level of grip. You can choke up and put your finger over this area right here for good push cuts, which it also does very well. And you have a straight back design, which I like. I like the neutral grips that it offers you, because this flat part is going to lay directly across your hand as you pass through materials, giving you maximum amount of leverage. Even if you're in this grip right here, you know, it lays right across your hand really nicely for slicing, and it does it very well. This clip point blade offers a really good blade shape for utility cuts. You kind of put this little part right in your palm, let it sit, get your finger right there, and the utility cuts are very, very nice. The tip is nice and acute, yet strong and durable enough that you're not going to really worry about it. You're not going to want to go and pry with it, but it's going to do utility cutting very well. So you're going to have great slicing, great utility cuts, great push cuts, all around a great cutter. Now, the carry. The clip is a deep carry, not inset, but it has flat screws. So I'll take it, man. yeah, it's very comfortable in the pocket. It slips in and out really good. It's easy to get to, easy to get out and open and, you know, back into the pocket very, very nicely. The clip is a great, great clip. Now, I do feel it in the hand, but you're going to feel a deep carry clip like this with such a slim knife. I mean, it's not very thick in either direction. So I do feel it. It's not uncomfortable, but I do feel it. Not a big deal, though. And like I said, and the clip works so good. I like it. You know, I like a clip that's not going to constantly mess my pants up or mess the pocket lining up of my jeans. Now, when I did take it apart and put it back together, it went right back to centering. I just tightened all the screws up. I did not have to play around it to pivot at all. It went straight to locked up, very solid in all directions. No detent lash, no nothing. Everything has been very solid on it. Now, if I was going to make any complaints, I only have two. T6s. I'd rather see T8s. The T6s are well done. Let me just say, I took it apart. I had no issues with the T6s, but I prefer T8s. It's just me. Next thing, I would prefer a little deeper of a sharpening choil. Now, I didn't have an issue with the sharpening. Well, I guess I did nick it with my stone. That was my fault, though. I didn't really care. I just rushed sharpening it because it sharpened up so fast and so good. I mean, N690 sharpens up really, really good. But I would rather have a little bit deeper of a sharpening choil. But really, that's it. That's the only real negatives I come up with. It has a nice, good-sized stop pin. The action is just insane. The ergos are really nice. The micarta is really nice. The carry is really nice. And the price, $69 for this. That's incredible. If I was really, really going to be a stickler, I would say, you know, it'd be nice to have the clip stone-washed and the blade stone-washed as well. I think it would just, you know, because of the coating, clips, they tend to get scratched up being in a pocket. You know, when you slide it between things, you know, they tend to rub against things. So it'd be nice if it was just already stonewashed, but so far it's been holding up just fine. I don't see any scratches or wear on it, but eventually over a long time it's gonna. So it'd just be nice if it was stonewashed, but in all reality though, you know, I still love it the way it is. This is definitely a knife in my 2021 best knives, for sure. I really enjoy it. And let's look at it next to the mini, because they do have a mini Begleiter. This one's running on phosphor bronze washers, but you can see the difference in the size here. This is a very slim knife, so if a full-size knife is not your cup of tea, then they do have the smaller version, which the smaller version is 154 cm, and then there's also the Domen, which is basically the same size. It's just a little bit different. The grip is a little bit different, but yeah, very slim. And like I said, this one's on phosphor bronze washers, so it's not going to be as drop shutty as this guy, but it's still an incredible knife. So if you want a smaller version that's on phosphor bronze, you can get it. And then the Begleiter one is on phosphor bronze, and the Domen as well. But me personally, this is where it's at. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So there you guys go. I appreciate you guys watching. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.